I'm Michael Bain, and welcome to Triggered, coming to you from the secret hidden bunker in the Rocky Mountains, where this week we're actually having a little preview of spring. SHOT 2025 was all about silencers, all about suppressors. They were everywhere. So we thought it was a good idea to give you guys a little bit more information about getting a suppressor, which suppressor, choosing exactly the right suppressor for you to start with, and who better to go to than my friend Joe Kirkenbach at Silencer Central. Let's check it out. Joe, we've known each other a long time. Now you're at Silencer Central. Why is Silencer Central so important in how suppressors get purchased?
So I think that there was this accepted convention that these NFA regulated items, they had to be a hassle to get.
Yeah.
You had to go to your law enforcement for fingerprints. You had an exorbitant wait time to get approved by the ATF in order to receive what is essentially a gun muffler, something that makes shooting more pleasant, not just for you, but for the people around you. And I think Silencer Central, so we had a very visionary founder, Brandon Maddox, the CEO of this company. He's actually a pharmacist by trade, and he's a guy who was, at the time, loving prairie dog hunting, but wanted to do it better and scare fewer away, but also in his career was shipping regulated drugs all around the country to people's homes, and he thought, why can't I do that with a regulated item like a suppressor? So he worked through the process, he found out where the guidelines were, he developed a lot of the way we think about this business model now. He developed it and pioneered it, tested it, proved it, and now, perfect for the Amazon culture of today, you never have to leave your basement. You can order in your underwear and we will deliver that suppressor to your door.
See, that's really great because you can see hearing aids from a career in guns. That's what
I'm with you. I have ringing every day, and I'm going to preserve what I have left,
Interesting point. Shooting Gallery was the first show to have civilian use of suppressors, and we took heat. We took this huge amount of heat, and our whole argument on Shooting Gallery was simply, it's a safety device. It was always a safety device. It's ridiculous that a safety device would not be available there. And it's incredible to now come to a show after like 20 years and everybody's like, it's a safety device.
Isn't this show incredible? I mean, there are so many suppressor manufacturers out there, and it's just great to see because really, the early suppressor, there were only a couple of suppressor makers, and it was in that same realm as machine gun dealers. Like, there just weren't that many. They weren't available to normal people. That's all changed.
This week's Triggered is brought to you by Rossi. The legend continues. Stoger, Everyday Tough. Hunter's HD Gold, they change so you don't have to. And MTM Case Guard, quality shooting sports accessories. You're a hunter, I'm a hunter. Would it be fair to say that hunters are a little conservative?
I would, probably so.
What's your argument to them, especially a guy says, I got some good walnut, I got a blued gun, and you want to put some sort of machine on the end of it. What's your argument?
Yeah, so the main thing is that it's going to make your whole experience more pleasant, and you're actually going to shoot better. There are some primary benefits to hunting with a suppressor. We all know about the noise suppression, which that can be good, but I would say in a hunting scenario, the recoil mitigation is more important, and people don't talk enough about that. When you put a suppressor on the end, it has the same effect as, say, a muzzle brake, minus the gigantic blast that clears out the whole woods for miles around. So you get that recoil mitigation. For example, I was just hunting elk in Montana, and I was on one side of a hill, and the elk was on the other, and it's at an upward angle. I'm on rocky terrain. I'm shooting the 7mm Magnum. I never lost that elk in my sight picture because I was shooting suppressed. It just takes all of that recoil and wiggle out of it. It makes it a lot more fun too. No ringing in your ears. Instead, it sounds like Mike Tyson going to town on the side of beef. That's what you hear.
On the flip side, I hunted Nilgay last year, end of last year. Short barrel 300 Win Mag without a suppressor.
I can think of fewer, less pleasant experiences.
I'm sorry, it hits.
Shooting experience, 300 Win Mag, absolutely the pinnacle of like American hunting cartridges.
American hunting,
At least
but
in legacy,
it hurts.
Yeah, you don't want to shoot them too much, but you put a suppressor on the end, and you would be surprised that it'll really take that recoil down to a much more manageable level, kind of like a hot 308 instead of a 300 Win Mag.
When Triggered returns, you're going to meet Brandon Maddox, who created Silencer Central, well, because he found it hard to get suppressors. Stay with us.
You know the RIA 5.0 packs radically new innovations, but we didn't stop there. Introducing the RIA 5.0E. The E stands for enhanced, as in new optics cuts and plates. The updated barrel is crafted with improved materials and slide geometry. The look and feel is also enhanced. Plus, new lightning cuts show off the updated match grade barrel. Experience the enhanced RIA 5.0E today.
In my longer interview with Brandon Maddox, I asked him when he realized that suppressors were driving the industry.
It probably hit me too recently when rifle manufacturers said we're looking to shorten our barrel by several inches to accommodate your suppressors. And I thought, oh my gosh, the world is now revolving around us. That's an unusual, But I'm telling you, when I first started this in 2005, I had the hardest time trying to convince these manufacturers to thread their barrels in a consistent thread pattern because they're like, nope, we have the perfect thread and this is what it is and we're not changing it. And I just thought to myself, great, now I got to create an adapter for it and I got to get upset customers that bought a suppressor, now they can't use it. And finally now I would say probably close to 100% of all rifles that come pre-threaded with a brake or a flash hider, they all come, really two different threads and that's it.
What's your turnaround at this point?
Yeah, good question. We have a stand-up meeting every morning where we update all the turnaround times. It's about 22 days on an individual, and it's about 35 days on a trust. So ATF, when we were at SHOT Show, they said about 20 days average for theirs, no matter what it is, bell-shaped curve. Some are more, some are less. The hard part is most customers don't know if they've ever been into like what we would call like a further review process, but about 75% of people that buy a firearm or a suppressor, they get approved really with the first background check. In other words, they've never been arrested and there's not a felon with the same last name and the same date of birth, same first name. So it'll go through really quickly. So probably about 25% of people end up waiting a little bit longer, but honestly, 75% of people usually get approved within a week.
That 9K that you guys showed that we'll see this week on my own weekly internet show.
Oh, cool.
That's a heck of a thing.
Yeah, it's super quiet too. I mean, I just think we did a good job hiring some really good engineers that have had experience with, doing this before and having a good engineering team. We've also gone to really 3D printing for all of our testing, so you can go through more testing and more different versions more quickly. Because I had lunch with our engineer and he was like, usually it took 8 to 10 weeks for every design we came up with to get a final product. But now that we 3D print them, you can sometimes get them in, a week. So you just have so much more velocity in the whole, develop R&D process and testing process. And, but no, that thing is pretty exciting. I mean, I had a couple of friends ago, they said that's going to be a better seller than you thought. And at lunch, I was talking to him, and I think the first week we sold 500, which felt like a lot. I know that, we didn't even really tell anyone other than have it at, our booth at SHOT Show at the range day. But to sell 500 in the first week, I was like, wow, that's pretty hard to believe. And no, it's going over really, really well. Just a little bit shorter. The other insight I have is so I've been working shows for about 20 years, and what I found is people would walk up and you would show them a suppressor for say like a 45, and I could just tell they're disappointed. They're like, oh, it's just too big. They weren't expecting something that large to be on the front end of their, handgun. So when people see that the Vanish 9K, and they look at that, that's what they were envisioning the suppressor would look like. And then for it to actually be quiet and for it to be, 2.7 ounces and for it not to need a piston because it's so light, it's kind of a game changer.
Obviously, those were just a few select cuts out of a longer interview, which we'll put up as a Triggered special in about a week or so. Okay, I'm Michael Bain. Obviously, this is Triggered. You can find us always on michaelbain.tv, where we're always free. You can also find us on YouTube, on Rumble, on Facebook, on X, everywhere. See you next week.